Oh, what's up guys, me again, and god damn it, I wish you would start knocking. I'm trying to play Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES here. What if I was playing Sonic Forces? That would have been really embarrassing. Picture this, it's 1983 and the popularity of the Atari 2600 is starting to fizzle out a little bit. Marketing saturation is hitting way hard, and with minigames being junk like this, people are starting to lose interest. Personal computers are starting to look like a way of the future, and video games might just end up being a relic of the past. Video games revenue in 1983 peaked at around $3.2 billion, and then went down to $100 million by 1985. That's almost a 97% drop. It was honestly a bit sad for a lot of companies, with many going bankrupt. But then in 1985, a little toy company by the name of Nintendo made a little thing called the Nintendo Entertainment System. They had already made a couple arcade games in the past, but weren't exclusive to making video games. At the time, they still wanted to be known as a toy company, so that's what they marketed the NES as. A toy. This is what led to the creation of Rob the Robot, so that way it didn't feel like you were playing a video game. But come on guys, this is a video game. Video? Game? The NES was a huge success and regained interest in video games hardcore. Wait guys, we're a toy company! Video game company. But you can't have a console without a game, and luckily Nintendo had us covered on that end. Many versions of the NES came bundled with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. Both were a pretty successful game, but Mario Bros. Was obviously a lot bigger out of the two. Duck Hunt was fun, but it was more so a test game for the NES Zapper, because remember, this is a toy. Mario Brothers ended up selling over 40 million copies worldwide, and we all know what a company does when a game does well. Obviously, with the success of the first game, there just had to be a sequel. In 1984, Nintendo wanted to release a sequel with the same technology used as the first game, but with this game, the difficulty meter was cranked all the way up to the max. The first game was already hard in a lot of aspects, but this one was so hard that it's not even that fun in my opinion, but that's probably only because I'm an American. This game was only ever released in Japan initially because Nintendo felt Japanese players had mastered the original, but for Americans thought it was too hard for us in our recovering economy. But Nintendo of Japan wasn't the only ones to think this, because apparently Nintendo of America's president at the time, Howard Phillips, felt the same way in that it was just unfairly difficult to play and wouldn't do as well in the North American market. I don't know, part of this doesn't make sense to me because I can kinda see where Phillips was coming from. He worried it wouldn't sell well in North America, but at the same time, the country you play the game in doesn't make it more or less difficult. But hey, I don't know, I'm not a corporate entity. But come on Nintendo, us Americans want more Mario. Where's our sequel, damn it? Oh god, oh f***, how about this? Nintendo took an already existing game, Doki Doki Panic, put some Mario sprites in there and bam, released it as Mario Bros. 2 in the West. Funny story about how I discovered the Japanese Mario 2, it was about 2013, 2014, somewhere around then. I just bought an eShop card from Walmart, so your boy was ready to get some virtual console and indie games. I wanted to buy the first Mario, but wasn't paying attention or something and accidentally bought this. I opened it up and said, "Oh, this is Mario, but worse." Now, both versions of the game would end up in both places anyway. A Japanese Mario 2 would eventually come to America as Mario the Lost Levels, and American Mario 2 would end up in Japan as Super Mario USA. So Mario Bros. 2, this game is a little weird. It's not really talked about as much as Mario 1 or Mario 3. It's not like this is some obscure game that nobody cares about, but not as many people seem to really care about it. In terms of my experience with it, I have some experience with the game, but I don't really have as much nostalgia for it as I do with Mario 1 or Mario 3. Like I said before, my first game ever was Super Mario Bros. On the NES, and I think my second ever game was like Mario 3, so this one always just seemed like that weird elusive one. I never beat Mario 1 up until like June 2019, but at least with that one I was always able to get to at least World 8. This one, maybe like World 3 on a good playthrough. I don't really know why. I don't remember thinking the game was bad or anything, or that I thought it just got boring, but let's find out. I already talked about the first NES Mario game. In fact, it was my first time ever talking about anything. Like, literally first time ever. I was just born already 15 years old and talking about the first Mario, and I just never looked back. Now, I'm gonna be playing through this game, but I'm gonna do it in a way that probably makes y'all vomit. Listen, guys. I'm a pussy, okay? I beat the first Mario fair and square, okay? However, it was kinda difficult. So difficult, in fact, that it took me 10 years to beat. Listen, my two main goals in life were to beat Mario 1 and to beat Punch-Out. I achieved one of those. Now, I feel like I deserve a bit of a break with this one, so yes, I will be playing through this game on the Switch. Not that bad, it's still Mario, however. Nintendo added a new feature called Rewind, and I'm gonna use it a little bit, okay? I'm not unlimited on time like the last one. I don't have time to play games right. In all seriousness, I do want to give this game a fair analysis, and to do that I feel like I need to see all the game has to offer, but I feel like it would just take a while to beat this the right way. I'll do my best to be conservative with the feature, but I'm not going to sit here and lie by saying I won't be taking advantage of it a little bit. Look, I only said that I like video games, but I didn't say I was good at them. But with all that sitting out of the way, let's get into it. Well, we actually have options now. We get to pick from Mario, Luigi, and some new guys, Toad and Peach. Mario is the most standard feeling, decent jump, decent speed. It's Mario. I think his jump goes the farthest, but it's not as high as the other characters. Luigi has the best jump out of them all, which can obviously come in handy. Toad has the worst jump, but he's stronger so he can pick up items quicker. And Peach, who can hover when she jumps. I usually play as Luigi or Peach, more so Peach. They're just the best at jumping, and that's the skill I find the most useful in this game. I don't really notice much of a speed difference when picking up items, so Toad's just slow to me, and Mario's just Mario. We also get a chance to change characters after each level, and now actually getting into the game we start falling. I don't really know why, but it's not hurting anything, I guess. Then we go through this door, and Jesus, this is way different than the first game. So the first game, you jump on the enemy, you die in one hit if you're small, a mushroom or some other power-up gives you 2 hits. In this game, you start big, whatever, but you can't kill an enemy just by jumping on it. Instead, you have to jump on the enemy, then pick it up, then throw it at another enemy or off a ledge. Why? You could argue, well, it makes it more of a challenge. Well, it could be, but I could also just not kill him. It seems so unnecessary. I get that the gimmick with this game was picking shit up, but so much of that is just stuff out of the ground, so it still could have been utilized just without this. Anyway, the enemies themselves aren't too bad though, and there were even a couple of them that became mainstays in the Mario series. For example, we got the introduction of Shy Guys. Now let's have a look at the most important part of a game, the first level, as first impressions kinda matter. Overall, it's pretty alright, but it's so varied throughout each portion. Like it goes from grass to cave to sky. There's little potions you can pick up throughout the game that spawn this door. You go inside and you're able to grab things like mushrooms and coins, and it plays a new version of the song from Mario 1. I personally like this. It doesn't do much, but it's a nice opportunity to give yourself other hit points. Plus, with this game feeling so different from the last game, it's nice to have a touch of classic Mario in there. Speaking of which, another thing different about this game is that instead of a flagpole at the end, there's a mini boss fight with a new character, Birdo. You know Birdo, the character who kinda looks like a girl Yoshi that nobody cares about. Yeah, her first appearance was here. So for this fight, Birdo shoots eggs at you, and just like every other thing that can hurt you in this game, you gotta pick them up. Once you do that, you throw it at Birdo a couple of times, and then this eagle in the wall opens its mouth, and you walk on to the next level. What the f***? That is so weird. This fight pretty much stays the same throughout the whole game. It varies a little bit as time goes on, but not by much. There's 4 types of Birdos that you can find throughout the whole game. There's the pink one that just shoots the standard eggs, there's the red one that shoots eggs and fireballs, and the green and gray ones, they're basically the same premise. They don't shoot eggs, they just shoot fireballs, and you have to kill them with other objects around you. Also, with the eagle mouth thing, this game is so weird in some areas. Like, they obviously added some different things to the game, so there's elements of Mario, but there's so much stuff that we only saw in this game. And that's kind of where I find a small issue with this game, is that it just feels lazy in some instances. Like I said, this is basically just a reskin of an already existing game, and that doesn't inherently make it a bad game or anything, but it doesn't always feel like a real Mario game. However, this game does have a nice charm to it in that it has yet to be replicated, and I can respect it in that sense, but it's clearly just some Mario sprites slapped over Doki Doki Panic. We don't even see any of the mainstay Mario elements like Goombas, Koopas, Bowser, etc., but in a way that also helps it to stand out from the first game. A big thing with modern 2D Marios is that they're the exact same thing, but with the NES Marios they all feel different, so I like the direction of this game better than the new Super Mario Bros. Series, for example, but with that being said, while this game is clearly rushed in a lazy way to make a sequel, I still think it's a pretty good game. Just because it's lazy doesn't make it bad. I enjoy some of the mechanics they introduced, and many of these were pretty original when the game first came out, like the hover jump for example, or being able to hold the crouch button to jump higher and build up. You can also crouch in this game while you're small. Now that's revolutionary. Now the second level is a bit different than the first one. Are you shitting me? You have to kill this guy to get onto this flying carpet and zoom across the cliff before the rug disintegrates. Grab a key, and that's it. After that, there's fucking nothing. You just fight Birdo and the level's over. Alright, another point on the lazy scale. Not always fleshed out levels. This is so fucking lame. Like, you literally push the D-pad forward and down a little, and the level's done? Really? I would have much rather just had no level at all. This is so pointless. Oh wait, my bad. You have to hit Birdo 3 times in this one. Finally, we move on to the third level. The true boss fight, not this Birdo shit. This fight is against this mouse, known as Meowser. Throw bombs at it 3 times and boom, we got him. This is another way that this game succeeds over the first game, and that there's actually different boss fights. Each fight is pretty similar in how you defeat them using that age-old gimmick that this game loves. Throwing things. Honestly though, I think the game has pretty decent level design overall. There's a couple of times where I felt like some bullshit, but it's pretty alright overall. Now on to World 2, and whoa. They gave the game actual varying themes for each world. That was one of my biggest complaints with the first game, is that every level feels the same, just different layouts, but they actually made them different in this game, and I like that. Also, this game's pickup gimmick, despite being an iconic part of the game, is just pretty okay, but it's not something I really need. You know another thing I like about this game? The difficulty. This is not an easy game by any means, but I respect it because it's the fair kind of difficult. To me, Mario 1 wasn't necessarily unfair, but it did seem like they got a little wild at times. I don't really blame them though, it was literally one of the first NES games ever. Gaming was still a fucking baby, and trying to balance the difficulty wasn't really something they had much knowledge of yet. I think for what they did pretty well, just not the best. Now Japanese Mario 2, yeah, that's bullshit. At least if you're an American. But this game, while hard, still never feels like true bullshit. Just ignore what I said earlier. This game is bullshit! Every time I died in this game, it actually felt like I sucked, not the game, and I really respect that. But now, after playing through it all, we finally reach the final boss. King Bowser, King K. Rool, King Wart. It shoots some vegetables out of this organ thing, and we gotta throw them in his mouth when he opens it. Finally killing him, we realize vegetables are bad for us. Are you shitting me? We are then greeted with what is this game's version of warp pipes, with a cork inside. And of course for the finale, we gotta use that gimmick. Just one last time. Pull it out and are greeted to these things that are important for some reason. Then we see a funeral and the Mario characters winning a Nobel Peace Prize. Except not really, because it was all just a dream. What? I'm not offended by this or anything, but like, why? This literally adds nothing. It was like they just decided last minute, like, hey, guys, I know what would make this game different. What if it just wasn't real? It just feels like such an unnecessary detail, that's all I'm saying. Now, after kind of playing through this game, I like it. It's honestly a pretty good sequel to the first game, and I honestly find it to be a better game. Sure, it's just a reskin of Doki Doki Panic, but it's a good reskin of Doki Doki Panic, because Doki Doki Panic's a good game, so I can't really discount it for that. If we compare it to the first game, I'll say this. As just a game in general, this is way better, but as a Mario game, if we take into account that this is a reskin, the first one was more original. Now, I feel bad saying how lazy it was for Nintendo to just make a sequel this way, because I don't want that to be interpreted as I hate this game or I think this game sucks, because I do like this game, and this is one of the most iconic games ever in North America, but like, at the end of the day, it's just Doki Doki Panic. But still, I like it way better than the first one. The whole game was only about a couple hours long, which is to be expected for an NES game. And I absolutely love the challenge of it because of how so many old games just don't do challenge well. Not to mention they actually designed bosses. However, this is an odd game the more I learn about it, but this game is pretty cool. And if you want to see the sequel to how Mario basically started, go for it. So Mario 2, I like this one. It's not as original as the first Mario, but that's only really because it's a reskin of Doki Doki Panic. But it's still fun. It has good mechanics, good level design, decent difficulty, and overall it's just a really good NES game. And I think I like it better than the first Mario game. Now next up, I have got to play... I'm sorry guys, I just could not help myself.